few friends to name the capital of Switzerland. I assume that many of them would name Geneva or Zurich, but none of these is a capital. I have been to Switzerland several times, but I've never been able to visit the capital. The thing is that there is no capital in the country, and today is a good time to go to the city that performs this function. Bern is the fifth largest Swiss city. This is only a de facto capital, meaning that it's not supported legally. It's called the capital largely due to the fact that the most important government institutions are located here: the Parliament building, the Government building, and the Swiss National Bank. Also, Bern is considered the first city from which Switzerland began to expand its power. The name of the city is mentioned for the first time in 1208. There are several versions of its origin. One of the legends says that it comes from the first animal killed here, and as you might guess, it was a bear. But it's just people's guesses. Meanwhile, linguists insist that the roots of these words are completely different. But despite all this, the symbol of the city is a bear, which also graces the emblem of the city. By the way, nowadays it's quite possible to meet a bear in Bern. They live at the bottom of a pit in Barengraben Park. Another version, which I believe more, says that the name of the city originates from a modified name of the city of Verona, since the nobility of Bern had family ties with Verona's feudal lords. But it's most likely that the name Bern comes from the Celtic word bren, which means mountain, or brana, which means cleft. The city is built on a sandstone ridge, which is surrounded on three sides by the Aare River flowing through the valley. The exterior of buildings managed to preserve the image of the city as it was in the 17th century. That allows us to plunge into the atmosphere of those times. Bern was included in the list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites precisely because of the way it connects antiques of the past with innovations of the present. The bridge that I had every day on my way from the hotel to the historical part of the city is the oldest object of high-tech bridges of the early 18th century. Its length is 355 meters and the height is 48. One of the most adorable places in the city is Altstadt, or simply the Old Bern. There are old paved streets and arcade buildings, mostly retaining their original appearance. One of the features of the city is its fountains. There are a huge number of ancient fountains built in the late Middle Ages. They are decorated with sculptures depicting biblical scenes and urban legends. In total, the city has over 100 fountains. Also, there is a well-known wine and coffee pub, Klosterli Weincafe. It's regarded as an architecturally significant due to the combination of rural and urban styles of the mid-18th century. It offers an assortment of more than 100 wines. Also, knowing the fact that Swiss wines are produced only for domestic consumption, it makes sense not to lose the opportunity to taste local wines here while walking around the city. One of the most famous Swiss attractions is located in the very heart of Bern, the 13th century clock tower, Zytglogge. Every hour, several minutes before the minute hand makes a full rotation, the clock buffoon begins to drum and the music turns on. And when the minute hand makes a full circle, the god Kronos and bears appear. And this small performance happens all the time. The clock was created in 1530 by Swiss master of German origin Caspar Brunner. And well, as everyone knows, the Swiss make the best watches. It all started from the ban on wearing precious metals by Louis XIV. Then a guild of watchmakers was created in Geneva, where the best craftsmen set to work. They began to produce high-quality watches that were good enough to replace jewelry. stylish and modern. The most important place is here. In fact, I don't even need anything else. After a walk in the Old Bern, it's also worth visiting the Rosengarten Park located on the hilltop, which allows you to admire the views of the city from above. Here in the garden, there are over 200 species of roses and irises and other plants. From 1903 to 1905, Albert Einstein lived in Bern, on Kramgasse 49, to be more precise. Now it's a museum apartment. The scientist lived here not alone, but with his wife and son, and wrote physics papers. He also taught at the University of Bern, but I won't go into educational details because for these matters you can check out our series about universities where we talk about education abroad. And also you can get help choosing a school, college or language camp abroad on smapse.com. Probably one of the most famous buildings in the Old Bern and Bern in general is Bern Minster, also known as the Cathedral of Bern or the Cathedral of St. Vincent. The cathedral is the biggest Swiss temple of the late Middle Ages and it played a vital role in the development of the city architecture. The architectural style of the cathedral is late Gothic. 3 successive phases of Gothic architecture can be distinguished, respectively called Early, High and Late Gothic or Flaming Gothic, which is a special stage when architects reached the highest level of elaboration of details and decor. The cathedral is a 3-naved basilica with columns that was built from 1421 to 1893, when the construction of the octagonal upper part and the open-work spire was completed. You should definitely circumvent the cathedral from all sides. Its west side is richly decorated with sculptures that are now copies. The Last Judgment is depicted on the tympanum, and there are pictures of the fall and the Annunciation on lateral sides. And I have a recommendation for you. The Cathedral of Bern has a small terrace planted with green which offers a great view of the Aare River valley. If you're able to climb up 254 stairs of the tower, the view of the city will be simply stunning. Another building with a great view is the Bundeshaus, or the Parliament Building. It's also located at the edge of the hill above the Aare River. The building is executed in the Renaissance style. The central part with the dome houses 2 chambers of the Swiss Parliament, the National Parliament and the Council of States. The west and the east wings house various federal agencies and the Federal Library. The place is open to visitors but with a slightly restricted access during Parliament sessions. The Parliament Square is surrounded by cafes, stores, buildings in the Renaissance style and the Banknote Museum. Just behind it is the Little Redoubt, a popular observation deck in Bern with a map pointing out important sites. Next to this old structure are the gardens and a monument to Oscar Bieder, who made the first flight over the Alps in 1913. If you're into arts, then you'll definitely love the Zentrum Paul Klee, an exhibition center when you can admire works of the famous artist. The center itself draws a lot of attention since its exterior is designed in a wavy shape. But if local paintings won't be enough for you, then you can visit the Museum of Fine Arts, which opened its doors back in 1879. The collection includes over 3,000 paintings and sculptures as well as about 50,000 photographs and sketches. During the video I've mentioned the Aare River several times. It truly is an integral part of Bern. This crystal clear water forms the landscape of the city. The river is beautiful all year round, constantly drawing locals and tourists. As soon as the temperature rises, locals go swimming. There are also several open swimming pools on the river bank. Canoeing and rafting are very popular sports in the Aare. Looking at the city from the water, you can see it from a different perspective and get unforgivable impressions.